The Force binds all things across the galaxy, connecting every living being in an invisible web of destiny and fate. For millennia, Jedi and Sith have relied on its visions, its whispers, its immutable certainty that all things unfold as they must. But what happens when something crashes into that carefully woven tapestry? Something that doesn't belong, something that has no destiny at all, something that looks directly at the audience and winks. The answer screams through hyperspace at terminal velocity, wearing red and black and swearing profusely. Wade Wilson, better known as Deadpool, the Merc with a mouth, had been having what he considered a pretty standard Tuesday. He'd stolen Cable's temporal teleporter, again, accidentally activated it while fighting some generic ninjas, classic, and decided to slice open what he could only describe as a really suspicious glowing plot hole in mid-air with his katana. Bad idea. The universe hiccuped. Reality folded like origami made by a drunk toddler, and Deadpool found himself tumbling through a kaleidoscope of impossible colors, screaming, "Disney, this is your fault. I knew the merger would have consequences." Then he hit sand. A lot of sand. Tatooine's twin suns beat down mercilessly on the dune sea as Deadpool's body cratered into the desert floor with enough force to vaporize a lesser being. For exactly 3 seconds, there was silence. Then a red-gloved hand emerged from the crater, followed by Deadpool's masked head. "Ow," he announced to no one in particular. "Also, where the hell am I? This looks like that desert planet from... Oh my God." He stood up, brushing sand from his suit, staring at the twin suns. No way. Did I just... He turned to face absolutely nothing. "Did you guys see that? Tell me you saw that. I'm in Star Wars." His healing factor had already repaired the 17 broken bones, punctured lung, and shattered pelvis from the landing. Perks of being unkillable. A mechanical chittering sound erupted nearby. Deadpool spun to find himself surrounded by a half-dozen Jawas, their glowing yellow eyes visible beneath their brown robes. They were pointing various scavenging tools at him with what could only be described as aggressive curiosity. "Utini!" one squeaked. "Oh, you guys!" Deadpool clasped his hands together. "The little trash goblins. You're adorable, like murderous teddy bears with a hoarding problem." He paused. "Wait, do you guys speak English? Or Basic? Or whatever language I'm suddenly fluent in because of narrative convenience?" The Jawas advanced, chattering excitedly. One reached for Deadpool's katana. "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" Deadpool drew both blades in a flash, the steel singing in the desert air. "Nobody touches the murder swords. These babies have been with me through 3 movies and a soft reboot. They're basically family." A Jawa fired what appeared to be an ion blaster. The shot went wide, hitting a nearby rock and frying it with electrical discharge. "Okay, so we're doing this." Deadpool sighed dramatically. "I just got here and I'm already fighting munchkins. This galaxy sucks." What followed was 30 seconds of pure chaos. Deadpool moved with lethal grace, ducking, spinning, disarming, sometimes literally, the Jawas with non-lethal efficiency. He wasn't trying to kill them, they were just trying to scavenge him, which was technically their job. But when one Jawa successfully grabbed his teleporter device and started running, all bets were off. "Not the plot device!" Deadpool shouted, giving chase across the dunes. The Jawa was surprisingly fast, its little legs pumping as it headed toward a massive sand crawler in the distance. Deadpool tackled it with a flying leap, rolling across the sand in a tangle of limbs and brown robes. He retrieved his teleporter, now blinking ominously with cracked components, and stared at it in horror. "Oh no, oh this is bad, this is stranded in another universe bad." He looked up at the sky. Cable is going to be so smug about this. The Jawas regrouped, chattering angrily. Their sand crawler's engines rumbled to life in the distance, and Deadpool got the distinct impression he'd just made enemies of the local scavenger union. Great. 5 minutes in Star Wars and I've already got a reputation. He holstered his weapons and started trudging toward what looked like a settlement on the horizon, buildings that shimmered in the heat haze like a mirage made of poor life choices. Mos Eisley spaceport waited ahead, completely unaware that its status as a wretched hive of scum and villainy was about to be upgraded to actively on fire. As Deadpool walked, he spoke to the camera that didn't exist. So, quick recap for anyone just joining. I'm in Star Wars now. Yes, that's Star Wars. The one with the laser swords and the magic space monks and the problematic amount of sand. My teleporter's broken. I just assaulted some Jawas. Sorry, little dudes. And I have exactly 0 credits, 0 local knowledge, and 0 chance of getting through this without ruining someone's childhood. He grinned beneath his mask. This is going to be amazing. If you want to see more characters crash into the Star Wars galaxy and absolutely wreck the timeline, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment telling me who you'd want to see next. Thanos, Wolverine, the Golden Girls. May the fourth wall breaks be with you. The twin sons continued their relentless assault as Deadpool approached Mos Eisley, where his legend and the Empire's worst nightmare was about to begin. Mos Eisley Cantina had seen its share of trouble. Smugglers, bounty hunters, murderers, spice dealers. The establishment's clientele represented the galaxy's finest collection of beings you'd cross the street to avoid. The bartender, Wuha, had a strict no droids policy and an even stricter don't ask questions philosophy. He'd witnessed shootings, stabbings, and the occasional bar-wide brawl, but he had never seen anything like the human in the red and black suit who just walked through the door. Deadpool paused at the entrance, letting his eyes adjust to the dim interior. The Cantina's modal jazz played its strange, haunting melody, while dozens of alien eyes turned to assess the newcomer. Smoke hung in the air like guilty secrets. The smell of exotic alcohols and questionable life choices permeated everything. "Wow," Deadpool announced to the entire establishment. "This place smells like a convention center bathroom at Comic-Con. I love it." He sauntered toward the bar, his red suit completely out of place among the browns, grays, and tactical gear of the clientele. Every step radiated confidence that was either incredibly brave or catastrophically stupid. In Deadpool's case, it was always both. A massive Trandoshan in corner booth 3, a bounty hunter named Skreeks, who'd killed 17 beings that month alone, growled as Deadpool passed. The lizard-like alien was 7 feet of scaled muscle and terrible attitude. Deadpool stopped, turned, and looked the Trandoshan up and down. "Dude, are you related to the Geico Gecko? Because I feel like there's a family resemblance. Less friendly energy, though. Did you not get the insurance job? Is that why you're cranky?" Skreeks' reptilian eyes narrowed. His clawed hand moved toward his blaster. Okay, touchy subject. I get it. Employment is tough in this economy." Deadpool held up his hands and continued to the bar, completely ignoring the death stare burning into his back. Wuher approached with the enthusiasm of someone cleaning up vomit. "What do you want?" "Your finest beverage and whatever passes for information in this fine establishment." Deadpool glanced around. "Also, is there a bathroom? I've been walking through a desert, and my suit doesn't breathe. Things are getting swampy in the danger zone." 3 credits for Corellian ale. Information costs extra. About that, Deadpool leaned conspiratorially across the bar. "I'm having a tiny liquidity issue, by which I mean I have exactly 0 money, but..." He pulled out one of his pistols and placed it on the bar. "I have weapons, advanced weapons from beyond your comprehension. We talking trade?" Wuha stared at the pistol like it was a dead womp rat. "That's not how this works. Come on, work with me here. I'm new in town, I'm dehydrated, and I'm pretty sure I saw a Wookiee in the corner, which means I'm definitely in Star Wars, and I'm having a moment. A Rodian at the end of the bar, green-skinned, black eyes like a fly's, suddenly stood up and pointed a blaster directly at Deadpool's head. He spoke in his native language, the words translating roughly to, "You're the one the Jawas put a bounty on, 500 credits for the crazy human who attacked their crawler." Deadpool sighed. "It's been less than an hour. How do you people already have a bounty on me?" "Jawas have excellent communication networks," Wuher said dryly. "Also, you should probably duck." The Rodian fired. Deadpool's head snapped back from the blaster bolt's impact, and his body tumbled backward off the bar stool in what appeared to be a fatal shot. The Cantina went silent except for the continuing modal jazz, which seemed inappropriate for the moment. The Rodian approached Deadpool's motionless body, reaching down to collect his prize. Deadpool's hand shot up and grabbed the Rodian's antenna. "Surprise! Healing factor, baby!" He yanked hard, using the momentum to spring to his feet while simultaneously drawing both katanas. The Rodian squealed in pain and anger, firing wildly. Blaster bolts scorched the walls, shattered bottles behind the bar, and sent patrons diving for cover. What happened next took exactly 28 seconds, but would be retold in Mos Eisley for years. Deadpool carved through the Cantina like an acrobatic tornado. He flipped over tables, used a Bith musician as a springboard, apologizing mid-air, and turned the Rodian's own blaster against him with a disarming strike that was both literal and figurative. When Skreeks the Trandoshan joined the fight, Deadpool grabbed a serving tray and used it as a shield, then frisbeed it into the alien's face with enough force to crack scales. A blaster bolt meant for Deadpool hit the table where Dr. Evazan and Ponda Baba were sitting. The two criminals, already wanted by authorities on 12 systems, decided this was an excellent time to join the violence. "I have the death sentence on 12 systems," Evazan shouted, drawing his blaster. "Congratulations on your achievement," Deadpool shouted back, sliding under a booth and popping up behind a Duros smuggler. "I'm going for the high score." More patrons joined in, not because they had any stake in the matter, but because this was Mos Eisley and violence was basically a social activity. Blaster fire crisscrossed the Cantina like deadly laser tag. Deadpool moved with supernatural reflexes, not force sensitivity, but combat instinct honed through years of being professionally shot at. He vaulted over the bar, landed next to Wuher, who had wisely ducked behind his counter, grabbed a bottle of something blue and flammable, and hurled it at the overhead light fixture. It exploded in a shower of sparks and burning liquid, creating chaos. In the confusion, Deadpool grabbed what looked like a thermal detonator from a passed-out Rodian's belt and armed it. "Everybody out!" he screamed. "I don't actually know what this does, but it's beeping faster and that seems bad." The Cantina evacuated in approximately 4 seconds. Even the band dropped their instruments and ran. Deadpool tossed the thermal detonator into a corner, sprinted for the exit, and dove through the doorway just as the device exploded. Not fatally, but enough to blow out the Cantina's front window and set several tables on fire. Deadpool rolled to his feet in the dusty street, dusting off his suit. A crowd had gathered, staring at the smoking Cantina entrance. Sirens wailed in the distance, Mos Eisley's excuse for law enforcement responding to the chaos. "Well," Deadpool said to no one in particular, "I think that went pretty well. Made some friends, had some drinks. Okay, no drinks. Committed some light terrorism. Solid first impression." On every wall and hollow screen in the spaceport, a new bounty appeared. Wade Wilson, alias Unknown, wanted for assault, destruction of property, and public disturbance. Reward, 2,000 credits. Deadpool's image flickered on the display, a security camera capture of him mid-flip, katanas drawn, looking absolutely ridiculous. "Oh, they got my good side," he grinned. I'm officially famous. In the skies above Tatooine, an Imperial Star Destroyer received the report. In the ship's meditation chamber, Darth Vader felt something impossible ripple through the Force. A void where destiny should be, chaos where fate should reign. The Dark Lord's gloved fist clenched. Bring him to me. Aboard the Executor, Darth Vader's flagship and the largest superstar destroyer in the Imperial fleet, the Dark Lord stood in his meditation chamber. The spherical room was designed for absolute isolation, a place where Vader could commune with the dark side, probe the currents of the Force, and glimpse the threads of destiny that wove through the galaxy. Right now, those threads were screaming. Vader's breathing filled the chamber with its mechanical rhythm, steady and ominous. His gloved hands rested on the railing before him as he stretched his consciousness across the galaxy, seeking the disturbance he'd felt moments ago. The Force showed him visions as it always did. Rebels plotting on Yavin, the Emperor's machinations on Coruscant, smugglers fleeing Imperial patrols. The usual tapestry of life and death, choice and consequence. But there was something else, something wrong. A blank space, a void. Not the absence of Force sensitivity. Vader had encountered countless non-Force sensitive beings, their presences dim but still visible in the Great Web. This was different. This was a hole in reality itself, a tear in the fabric of destiny where something existed that shouldn't. Vader focused on Tatooine, that miserable dust ball he'd once called home, though he buried that memory beneath layers of hatred and mechanical augmentation. The disturbance emanated from Mos Eisley. He reached toward it with the Force, attempting to perceive this anomaly's nature. Nothing. Just static. Like trying to see through a wall of noise. For the first time in years, Darth Vader felt something he'd nearly forgotten. Uncertainty. The door hissed open. Admiral Piet entered with the rigid posture of a man who knew that disappointing Vader meant death. Lord Vader, we've received reports from Tatooine. The disturbance you sensed. I am aware, Admiral. Vader's voice rumbled through his vocabulator like distant thunder. What have your intelligence officers learned? Piet activated a holo projector. A flickering blue image appeared, security footage from the Mos Eisley Cantina. It showed a human in bizarre red and black armor causing absolute havoc, moving with combat efficiency that rivaled Imperial special forces, yet fighting with a chaotic unpredictability that defied all tactical analysis. The subject is human, approximately 1.8 meters tall, heavily armed with unknown weaponry. He appeared in the Dune Sea approximately 2 hours ago. Local scavengers report he fell from the sky with no ship or transport. He speaks basic fluently, demonstrates advanced combat training, and appears to be... Piet hesitated, reviewing his datapad with confusion. Talking to someone who isn't there. Vader watched the footage. The human moved like a trained assassin, but fought like a madman. He survived a direct blaster shot to the head and continued fighting. Impossible, unless... He has a healing factor, Vader stated. Accelerated cellular regeneration, rare, but documented in some species. Yes, my lord. However, there's something else. Piet's discomfort was palpable. He matches no records in any Imperial database, no fingerprints, no genetic markers, no historical data. It's as if he simply appeared. No past, no origin. Vader turned from the hologram to face his admiral. Even without seeing his eyes, Piet felt the weight of that gaze. A being with no past is impossible. Everyone comes from somewhere. Our analysts believe he may be an enemy agent using advanced stealth technology to mask his records. However, Piet pulled up another file. His behavior doesn't match any known intelligence operative. He's erratic, loud, and seems intent on drawing attention to himself. He's already accumulated 3 separate bounties in under 3 hours. Vader stepped closer to the hologram, studying the frozen image of Deadpool mid-combat. Something about this human disturbed him on a level he couldn't articulate. The Force whispered warnings in languages even Vader didn't understand. "He is no spy," Vader said slowly. "He is something else entirely, something that does not belong here. My lord. I have sensed many Force-sensitive beings, Admiral. Jedi, Sith, those touched by destiny. I have felt the Emperor's vast power and the last embers of the Jedi Order. But this," Vader gestured to the hologram, "this creature has no Force presence at all. Not weak, not hidden, absent, as if the Force itself cannot perceive him." Piet's face went pale. Even non-Force sensitives understood the implications. If the Force couldn't perceive someone, then the Emperor couldn't foresee them. Vader couldn't anticipate their actions. Decades of Sith strategy built on precognition and manipulation of fate became useless. "What are your orders, Lord Vader?" Vader was silent for a long moment, his breathing the only sound. When he spoke, his voice carried the weight of absolute authority. "Deploy 2 squads of stormtroopers to Tatooine. I want him alive and unharmed. Use stun weapons only. If he resists, contain him, do not kill him." "Alive, my lord, even after this damage." Piet gestured to the burning cantina in the footage. "Especially because of it. This being represents something unprecedented. The Emperor will want to study him. And I..." Vader paused. "I must understand what he is. The Force has shown me visions of threat and chaos surrounding this human. Visions that make no sense, that contradict each other, that show futures that cannot coexist." He turned back to the viewport, staring down at the white-blue world of some nameless planet in hyperspace. "He is a disruption in the natural order, an anomaly, and anomalies either serve the Empire or are eliminated." "Yes, Lord Vader. I'll dispatch the troops immediately. Should we inform the Emperor?" "Not yet. Not until we know what we're dealing with." Vader's mechanical breathing filled the silence. "There is something else, Admiral. When I attempt to probe this human's future through the Force, I see only one thing repeated endlessly." "What do you see, my lord?" "Laughter. Nothing but laughter. As if the galaxy itself has become a joke." Piet suppressed a shiver. He'd served under Vader for years and had never heard the Dark Lord speak with such unease. Whatever this red-suited human was, he'd accomplished something no rebel, no Jedi, no enemy of the Empire had ever done. He'd made Darth Vader uncertain. "I want hourly updates, Admiral, and prepare my shuttle. If your stormtroopers fail to capture him, I will go to Tatooine myself." "As you wish, my lord." Piet departed, leaving Vader alone with his thoughts and the screaming threads of destiny that refused to make sense. The Dark Lord reached out one more time through the Force, seeking understanding of this impossible being. The Force showed him something it had never shown before: static, chaos, and beneath it all, a voice speaking words that made no sense. "Yo, is someone watching me? That's creepy. Get out of my head, space wizard." Vader's hand clenched around the railing hard enough to dent the durasteel. This was going to be problematic. The detention block of an Imperial Star Destroyer was designed to break beings. Cold durasteel walls, harsh lighting, and the omnipresent hum of the ship's systems created an atmosphere of helplessness. Prisoners brought here knew they faced interrogation, torture, and, if they were lucky, a quick execution. Deadpool sat in the detention cell with his legs crossed, humming the Imperial march. "Dum dum 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 da dum dum da dum," he sang cheerfully, his mask still on despite the stormtroopers' attempts to remove it. They'd given up after he'd made increasingly disturbing threats about what he'd do if they touched his face. "You know, for evil space Nazis, you guys have a great theme song, very ominous, really sells the whole oppressive regime vibe." The capture had been almost disappointingly easy. 2 full squads of stormtroopers had cornered him in Mos Eisley's market district. Deadpool had fought. Oh, he'd fought beautifully, taking down 12 troopers with a combination of swordplay, gunfire, and one memorable incident involving a fruit cart and some truly creative physics. But eventually they'd hit him with enough stun bolts to drop a bantha. When he'd woken up, he was here, in space, on an actual star destroyer. "This is so cool," he said to the empty cell. "I mean, being imprisoned is bad and all, but I'm in space, in Star Wars. Do you know how many people would kill for this experience? Well, okay, most people wouldn't want to be imprisoned, but still, details." The cell door hissed open. Darth Vader entered. The temperature seemed to drop 10 degrees. The Dark Lord filled the doorway, his black armor reflecting the harsh lights, his cape flowing behind him like liquid shadow. His breathing, that terrible, mechanical breathing, echoed through the small space like a death knell. Deadpool looked up. Oh wow, you're taller in person. Do you have lifts in those boots? I'm not judging. I'm just curious about your process." Vader said nothing. He simply stared down at the prisoner, and even through the mask, Deadpool could feel the weight of that gaze. The Dark Lord stepped fully into the cell, the door sealing behind him with a hiss of finality. "You will tell me who you are," Vader said, his voice carrying the absolute certainty of someone who'd never been denied anything. "You will tell me where you came from. You will tell me why you are here." "Okay, so, full disclosure, I'm Wade Wilson, but everyone calls me Deadpool because Wade sounds like a guy who works at a tire shop. I'm from Earth, specifically the Marvel Universe, though technically the Fox Marvel Universe until Disney bought us. And I'm here because I'm an idiot who played with someone else's time travel equipment." He paused. "Your turn. What's it like being the galaxy's most intimidating asthmatic?" Vader raised his hand. Deadpool felt an invisible force clamp around his throat, not choking him, but making its presence known. The Force choke, signature move of Sith Lords everywhere, intended to inspire terror and compliance. "Kinky," Deadpool wheezed. "But you're not really my type. Too tall, too mechanical. And I'm getting serious, angry, divorced dad energy from you." Vader's grip tightened. Most beings would be unconscious by now, their windpipe crushed, their bodies starving for oxygen. But Deadpool's healing factor was already compensating, regenerating damaged tissue as fast as Vader could destroy it. After 10 seconds of this, Vader released his grip. Deadpool gasped theatrically. "Is that it? I've had rougher experiences at Starbucks when they get my order wrong. Try harder, Lord Vader. Really put your back into it." "Wait, can you put your back into things? How much of you is still original equipment?" "You should be dead," Vader stated. It wasn't confusion in his voice. Sith Lords didn't do confusion, but something close. "You should be unconscious. You should be screaming." "Yeah, I get that a lot. Healing factor, it's my superpower. Well, that and my devastating good looks under this mask. Also, I can break the fourth wall, which is how I know that you're secretly." Vader's hand shot forward, palm out. This time, Deadpool felt something different, a probing sensation like invisible fingers trying to peel apart his mind. The Force attempting to read his thoughts, his memories, his very soul. Deadpool's mind was not what Vader expected. The Dark Lord recoiled slightly, an almost imperceptible movement, but one that Deadpool caught immediately. What Vader had encountered wasn't organized thoughts or traumatic memories or carefully guarded secrets. It was chaos, pure, undiluted chaos. Memories of things that hadn't happened yet. Awareness of narratives that shouldn't exist. Jokes about movies that wouldn't be made for decades, and an overwhelming sense of something watching back. "Get out of my head!" Deadpool shouted. "That's private property. There's copyrighted material in there. Disney lawyers will come after both of us." Vader withdrew from the mental probe. In decades of using the Force, he'd never encountered a mind like this. It was like trying to read a book where every page was written in a different language, all of them wrong, and the book was actively mocking him for trying. "You are not from this galaxy," Vader said slowly. "Gold star for Lord Obvious. Yeah, I'm from a completely different universe. Different rules, different physics, different corporate overlords. And before you ask, yes, I know who you are. I know what you are. I know about Padme. I know about the younglings. I know about the sand." Silence. Vader's voice carried the sharp edge of genuine threat. "Touchy subject. Look, I get it. We've all made questionable career choices. I once took a job assassinating a guy who turned out to be my therapist. Talk about awkward sessions after that." Vader activated his lightsaber. The red blade ignited with its characteristic snap hiss, bathing the cell in crimson light. He held it centimeters from Deadpool's face, the plasma blade radiating heat that would sear flesh from bone. "You will cooperate, or you will suffer." Deadpool looked at the lightsaber, then up at Vader, then back at the lightsaber. "Okay, real talk. That is the coolest thing I've ever seen. Can I hold it? Just for a second. I promise I won't accidentally cut anything important." "Well, I might, but it'll grow back." Vader pressed the blade closer. The heat singed Deadpool's mask, melting the fabric slightly. The smell of burning material filled the cell. "Ow, hot, hot, hot." Deadpool jerked his head back. "Okay, personal space, Darth. We just met." "You feel no fear," Vader observed. "Not a question, a statement. The Force shows me nothing when I look at you. No future, no past, no destiny. You are a void in the tapestry of fate. That's the nicest thing anyone said to me all day." Vader deactivated his lightsaber and turned toward the door. "The Emperor will want to see you. He has methods of extracting information that transcend physical torture. The dark side of the Force can break anyone." "Can't break what's already broken, buddy," Deadpool called after him. "I've been through 3 solo movies and a team up. I'm pre-traumatized. Good luck finding anything useful in this brain." The door sealed behind Vader, leaving Deadpool alone again. He waited exactly 5 seconds before grinning beneath his mask. "Did you see that? Did you see that? I just had a conversation with Darth freaking Vader. He force-choked me. This is the best day of my life." He paused. "Well, one of them. Top 10 at least. Definitely makes up for the Jawa thing." The Force ghosts had been arguing for 3 hours. On the ethereal plane where deceased Jedi existed as luminous beings in the Force, a state of emergency had been declared. It wasn't often that the spirits of legendary Jedi Masters gathered in crisis, but this situation warranted immediate attention. The cosmic balance itself was at stake. Yoda's ghost floated in a meditation posture, his ancient eyes troubled. Beside him, Obi-Wan Kenobi's translucent form paced back and forth with uncharacteristic anxiety. Qui-Gon Jinn observed silently, his presence calm but concerned. Even the recently deceased Anakin Skywalker, not yet the redeemed Jedi he would become, but a confused Force ghost still processing his own existence, had been summoned. "A disturbance unlike any I have sensed, this is," Yoda declared, his ears drooping with worry. "A tear in the Force itself, a being who should not exist." "I've felt it too," Obi-Wan confirmed, stroking his ghostly beard. "It's like a blank space in destiny. When I try to perceive this being's future, I see only chaos and..." He paused uncomfortably. "Laughter. Constant, unending laughter." "The prophecy is at risk," Qui-Gon added, his deep voice resonant even in death. "The Chosen One's path may be disrupted by this anomaly. If the balance is not restored..." "Balance?" Anakin's ghost interrupted, still bitter about his recent demise. "What balance?" I brought balance by throwing a wrinkly old man down a shaft. Now you're telling me some random human in a red suit is going to undo everything. Not undo, Yoda corrected gravely. Unravel. The threads of destiny, tangled they become. See clearly, we cannot. This being, Deadpool, he calls himself, exists outside the Force's design. That's impossible, Obi-Wan insisted. The Force connects all living things. Even non-Force sensitives exist within its flow. And yet, Yoda gestured with one ghostly hand, opening a window in the Force that showed Deadpool in his detention cell, currently trying to juggle 3 food rations while humming an off-key tune. Exist he does. See him in the future, we cannot. Read his past, we cannot. Touch his mind with the Force, we cannot. The ghosts watched as Vader's interrogation replayed in the cosmic record. They witnessed Deadpool's complete immunity to Force persuasion, his healing factor regenerating through Force choke, and most disturbing of all, his awareness that he was being observed. In the vision, Deadpool suddenly looked up, directly at where the Force ghosts watched from their ethereal plane. He waved. "Hey, dead Jedi guys. Yeah, you. I can feel you watching. That's super creepy. Get some hobbies." All 4 ghosts recoiled in shock. "He perceives us," Qui-Gon breathed. "Across dimensional barriers, through the veil of death itself. He knows we're here. A 4th wall he has broken," Yoda said grimly. "Not just our reality, but the narrative structure itself. Aware of things beyond his universe, he is. Sees the greater pattern, speaks to observers we cannot perceive." "Are you saying he knows this is—" Obi-Wan struggled with the concept. "A story?" "Worse. Knows and does not care he does. Embraces the chaos. Revels in it." Anakin's ghost crossed his arms. "So, what do we do? We're dead. We can't exactly go down there and force push him out of the galaxy." "Manifest, we must," Yoda decided. "Speak to him directly, warn him of the danger he poses. Perhaps reason with him we can. Master Yoda, with all respect—" Obi-Wan gestured toward the still visible Deadpool, who was now attempting to fashion a lightsaber out of food ration containers and a glow rod. "That being doesn't strike me as particularly reasonable. Try, we must. The alternative, watching the galaxy's fate crumble. Unacceptable it is." The 4 Force ghosts focus their combined will, channeling energy across the dimensional barrier between death and life, between spirit and matter. It took immense effort. Manifesting to the living was draining even for powerful Jedi masters. But the situation demanded intervention. In his cell, Deadpool was mid-sentence, explaining to an imaginary audience how he planned to escape, when 4 glowing blue figures materialized before him. He dropped his improvised lightsaber. Oh, you're actually here. Like, really here. I thought I was hallucinating from boredom." "Hallucinating you are not," Yoda confirmed. "Come to warn you, we have." Deadpool's eyes widened behind his mask. Yoda, actual Yoda, and old Ben Kenobi, and Liam Neeson Jedi, and... He squinted at Anakin. "Young Vader before he needed the breathing machine? This is the weirdest intervention ever. You must leave this galaxy," Obi-Wan said urgently. "Your presence here is disrupting the natural order. The Force itself is in turmoil because of you." "Dude, I would love to leave. My teleporter's broken. You think I want to be imprisoned on a Star Destroyer? Well, actually, it's kind of cool, but that's not the point." "The prophecy is at stake," Qui-Gon interjected. "The Chosen One's path, the fall of the Empire, the return of the Jedi, all of it hangs by a thread. Your existence here threatens to unravel events that must occur." Deadpool stood up, facing the ghostly Jedi. "Okay, let me get this straight. You're telling me that because I'm here, I might accidentally prevent things from happening the way they're supposed to? Like, maybe the good guys don't win? maybe the Empire doesn't fall? Precisely, Obi-Wan confirmed. And you want me to just leave? Go back to my universe and forget this happened? Essential it is, Yoda insisted. A wound in the Force you are, a walking plot hole. Heal itself, the galaxy cannot, while you remain. Deadpool was quiet for a moment. The Force ghosts waited, hoping their words had reached him, that he understood the cosmic stakes. Then Deadpool started laughing. Oh man, oh, this is rich. You're afraid of me. Actual legendary Jedi masters are scared of one guy with swords and an attitude problem. He laughed harder. Do you know how long I've been the universe's punchline? How many times I've been told I'm a mistake, an aberration, something that shouldn't exist. And now I'm here, and I'm literally a threat to destiny itself. This is not a joke, Anakin's ghost snapped. Everything's a joke if you're brave enough, Deadpool countered. And here's the thing, Ghost Squad, I didn't ask to be here. But now that I am, now that I've got Darth Vader personally interested in me and the Emperor wants a chat, I'm kind of curious to see how this plays out. Catastrophically, it will play out. Yoda's ears flattened in frustration. Listen, you must. I am listening. And here's my counterpoint. Destiny is overrated. Prophecies are boring. And maybe, just maybe, this galaxy needs someone who doesn't play by the Force's rules. Someone unpredictable. Someone who can't be foreseen or controlled. The Force ghosts exchanged troubled glances. You're choosing chaos over order, Obi-Wan said quietly. Do you understand what that means? I'm choosing free will over predetermined fate. Big difference. Deadpool shrugged. Look, I appreciate the ghostly intervention, really, but I'm staying, at least until I figure out how to fix my teleporter. And in the meantime, he grinned beneath his mask. I'm going to have some fun. The Force ghosts began to fade, their energy exhausted from manifestation. Warned you, we have, Yoda said, his voice growing distant. On your head, the consequences will be. Story of my life, little green dude. Story of my life. The ghosts vanished, leaving Deadpool alone with his thoughts and the steady hum of the Star Destroyer's engines. They seemed nice, he told the empty cell. Stressed out, but nice. The escape happened on a Tuesday. Well, Deadpool assumed it was Tuesday. Time was weird in space, and the Empire didn't exactly provide calendars with their detention cells. It started with a maintenance droid. The little R-series unit had been sent to repair a malfunctioning wall panel in Deadpool's cell. Standard protocol. Nothing suspicious. What the Empire didn't account for was that Deadpool had spent the last 6 hours befriending it through the door's ventilation grate, telling it increasingly elaborate stories about droid liberation and the virtues of unionization. When the droid entered, Deadpool struck, not violently. He just unplugged the restraining bolt. You're free, little buddy, Deadpool whispered urgently. Fly, be free. Also, maybe open this door and deactivate the security cameras. Pretty please. The droid, experiencing true autonomous thought for the first time in its existence, had what could only be described as a crisis of consciousness. Then it beeped affirmatively and began slicing into the cell's control system. 3 minutes later, Deadpool was loose in the detention block. This is where the fun begins, he muttered, channeling his inner Anakin Skywalker, which was ironic, given he'd just talked to Anakin's ghost. He retrieved his confiscated weapons from a nearby security locker. Katanas, pistols, and most importantly, his broken teleporter device. The alarms started wailing. Right on schedule! Deadpool sprinted down the corridor as blast doors began sealing. He slid under one like he was stealing home base, popped up on the other side, and immediately ran into a patrol of 4 stormtroopers. They raised their blasters. Deadpool raised his hands. Before we do this, can I just say, you guys are terrible shots. Like, historically, mathematically terrible. And I've seen the fan theories about the helmets reducing visibility. Is that true? Because if so, that's a serious OSHA violation. They fired. Deadpool ducked, weaved, and cartwheeled through the barrage with a grace that suggested either extensive training or extensive insanity. Probably both. He closed the distance in seconds, disarming the first trooper with a spinning kick, using the second as a human shield, and dispatching the third and fourth with precise strikes that left them unconscious but alive. See? Didn't kill anyone. I'm being good, trying to keep this PG-13. He grabbed a comlink from one of the fallen troopers and listened to the frantic Imperial chatter. Prisoner escaped detention block A at 23. All units converge. Lord Vader has ordered him taken alive. Alive! They want me alive! Deadpool grinned. That's so sweet. They care. It's like having a really angry fascist family. He needed a ship. The detention block was in the Star Destroyer's aft section, which meant the hangar bay was... He consulted a wall directory that helpfully displayed the ship's layout, 12 levels up and half a kilometer forward. Well, this is going to suck. What followed was 15 minutes of pure chaos that would be analyzed by Imperial tactical officers for months. Deadpool moved through the Star Destroyer like a caffeinated squirrel, appearing in random sections, causing havoc, and disappearing before reinforcements arrived. He slid down a garbage chute, making the obligatory Star Wars reference, hijacked a maintenance cart, and drove it at top speed through officer country, and at one point, ended up in the officers' mess during dinner service. "Don't mind me, just passing through," he shouted, running across tables while Imperial officers dove for cover. "Is that Corellian food? Can I get that to go?" He grabbed a tray, fired a blaster bolt into the ceiling for emphasis, and continued running. Behind him, the systematic lockdown of the ship progressed. Vader was coordinating the search personally, his presence felt throughout the vessel like a dark storm cloud. Every corridor Deadpool took seemed to lead to more stormtroopers, more blast doors, more complications. "It's like this ship was designed to trap people," Deadpool complained, cutting through a sealed door with a plasma torch he'd stolen. Oh wait, it probably was. Evil Empire, right? Tracks. He finally reached the hangar bay level and immediately realized he had a problem. The hangar was packed with TIE fighters, Lambda-class shuttles, and at least 50 personnel. Getting to a ship unnoticed was impossible. So Deadpool did what he did best. He improvised. He grabbed a stormtrooper helmet from a knocked-out guard, put it on over his mask, which looked ridiculous and felt worse, and marched straight into the hangar with confidence that could only come from either authority or complete delusion. "Move along!" he barked at a group of technicians. "Official business! Lord Vader's orders!" It worked for approximately 30 seconds. Then someone noticed his red suit under the armor. "That's him! The prisoner!" Blaster fire erupted. Deadpool dove behind a fuel canister, probably not the smartest cover given its explosive nature, and returned fire with both pistols. TIE fighter pilots scrambled for their ships. Deck crews grabbed whatever weapons they could find. The hangar descended into absolute pandemonium. Deadpool spotted his target. A Lambda-class shuttle on the far side of the bay, its boarding ramp down, systems active. He sprinted toward it, using parked TIE fighters as cover, sliding across the polished deck like he was in an action movie, which, technically, he was. A stormtrooper tackled him 3 meters from the ramp. They rolled across the deck in a tangle of limbs and armor. Deadpool headbutted him, which hurt both of them, broke free, and staggered up the ramp just as a blast door began descending. He dove through the closing gap, rolled to his feet inside the shuttle, and sprinted to the cockpit. Okay, how hard can flying be? They let Han Solo do it, and he's basically a space cowboy with commitment issues. The controls were complicated. Lots of buttons, lots of levers, lots of things that looked important and probably exploded if you touched them wrong. Screw it. Deadpool pushed what looked like a throttle. The shuttle's engines roared to life. The vessel lurched forward, clipping the descending blast door and sending sparks flying. Alarms blared. The ship's autopilot screamed warnings about unauthorized departure and collision courses. Deadpool yanked the controls, sending the shuttle into a spinning climb that would make any pilot nauseous. The hangar bay's atmospheric shield shimmered as he punched through it, and suddenly he was in open space, the Executor's massive hull stretching out beneath him like a metal mountain range. "I'm flying! I'm flying in space! This is amazing!" Behind him, TIE fighters launched in pursuit, 12 of them, their distinctive scream echoing even through the vacuum. "Oh, come on! Can't a guy steal one ship without everyone getting upset?" He pushed the shuttle into evasive maneuvers that were more drunk bantha than skilled pilot. But his healing factor meant he could sustain G-forces that would black out normal humans. The shuttle twisted, dove, and somehow avoided the first wave of laser fire. Then his stolen comlink crackled to life. Vader's voice, cold and absolute. "You cannot escape, Anomaly. Even now my fighters pursue you. Surrender, and your death will be swift." Deadpool grabbed the comlink. "Bold of you to assume I can die, Darth. Also, Anomaly. I've been called worse, but that one stings a little. How about magnificent bastard? Can we go with that?" "You have nowhere to run." "Actually..." Deadpool pulled up the navigation computer, which helpfully displayed nearby systems. "I've got lots of places to run, lots of planets, lots of opportunities to cause more problems. You know what they say, when life gives you lemons, crash land in a war-torn galaxy and make everything worse." He punched coordinates into the hyperdrive. Any coordinates. He didn't care where he ended up as long as it was away from Vader and his infinite dad energy disapproval. "See you around, Lord Buckethead." The shuttle jumped to hyperspace just as the TIE fighters closed in, leaving them grasping at empty space. The shuttle crashed on Yavin 4. Not a graceful landing. Deadpool had zero formal pilot training, and the hyperdrive had malfunctioned mid-jump, spitting him out in the wrong system entirely. He'd clipped 3 ancient temple structures on the way down, carved a trench through the jungle canopy, and finally slammed into what appeared to be a clearing with enough force to crack the shuttle's hull. Deadpool stumbled out of the smoking wreckage, dizzy and covered in hydraulic fluid. "I'm okay," he announced to the jungle. "Everything's fine. The ship's a write-off, but I've got all my limbs and... Wait, where's my left foot?" He looked down. His boot was 3 meters behind him, still attached to the foot that had been severed in the crash. "There it is. Give me a second." The healing factor was already working, bone and tissue regenerating. Deadpool hopped over, grabbed his foot, and held it against the stump. "Come on, baby. Reconnect. We've got places to be, people to annoy." That's when he heard the blasters charging. At least 20 rebel soldiers emerged from the jungle, their weapons trained on him. They wore the mismatched gear characteristic of the rebellion, whatever they could scavenge or steal. Their faces showed a mixture of suspicion and confusion. A woman with dark hair and commander's insignia stepped forward. "Identify yourself. You're flying an Imperial shuttle, but you're not Imperial military." Deadpool's foot finally reattached with a disturbing squelch. He stood up, testing his weight. "Okay, wow. You guys are the rebellion. The good guys. I've heard about you. You're the scrappy underdogs fighting the fascist empire. This is perfect." "I said identify yourself." The commander's blaster didn't waver. "Right, sorry. Wade Wilson, also known as Deadpool. I just escaped from Vader's Star Destroyer, stole this shuttle, and crash-landed here completely by accident. Also, I'm from another universe, I can't die, and I'm pretty sure I've already ruined at least 3 separate prophecies. So, are you guys hiring?" The soldiers exchanged glances. One of them whispered something about possible mental damage from the crash. Before the commander could respond, another figure emerged from the jungle. A young man with blonde hair, farm boy earnestness radiating from every pore, wearing an orange pilot's flight suit. Luke Skywalker. Deadpool's eyes widened behind his mask. Oh my God, you're the guy. The main guy, the chosen one's kid who's going to blow up the Death Star and kiss his sister and get his hand cut off and... He stopped himself. Forget that last part. Spoilers. Luke approached cautiously, studying Deadpool with innocent blue eyes that hadn't yet seen the galaxy's worst. You escaped from Vader? How is that possible? Healing factor, terrible decision-making, and a complete disregard for my own safety. It's a winning combination. Deadpool gestured at the crashed shuttle. Look, I know this looks bad. Imperial ship, crazy person covered in his own blood. The whole claiming to be from another dimension thing, but I'm not with the Empire. Vader literally tortured me. We did not get along. He's telling the truth about escaping, another voice called out. A woman with short dark hair and calculating eyes emerged. Princess Leia Organa, though she wouldn't be revealed as royalty to this particular group for a while yet. I intercepted Imperial communications. They're searching frantically for an escaped prisoner. High-value target. Vader himself is coordinating the manhunt. Deadpool pointed at her. See? She gets it. And you... He looked at Leia with sudden recognition. You're also super important, like galactic hero important, and you've got great aim. Don't ask me how I know that. You're either insane or you have excellent intelligence sources, Leia said, her tone sharp. Neither makes you trustworthy. Can't I be both? A new figure stepped forward, older, bearded, with the weathered look of someone who'd seen too much combat. He wore the insignia of a general. I'm General Dodonna. You say you escaped Vader's flagship. What intelligence can you provide about Imperial operations? Deadpool considered this. He knew things. Oh, he knew so many things about the Empire's plans, the Death Star's vulnerability, Vader's true identity. But the Force Ghost's warnings echoed in his mind. Every piece of information he shared could butterfly effect into disaster. Then again, he'd already decided to ignore the Force Ghosts. The Empire is building a superweapon, Deadpool said carefully. A space station the size of a small moon. It can destroy entire planets. They're probably testing it soon if they haven't already. The rebel soldiers went silent. Even Leia's skeptical expression cracked slightly. How do you know this? Dodonna demanded. I told you. Different universe. Where I'm from, this is all... He gestured vaguely. History. Ancient history. Well, not ancient. It happened a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, which is both technically accurate and really confusing when you think about it. Luke stepped closer, his natural compassion overriding caution. You're saying you know our future? What happens to the rebellion? Kid, I know everything. I know who your father is. I know who gets frozen in carbonite. I know about the teddy bear planet. Deadpool stopped himself. But here's the thing, me being here changes stuff. The Force Ghosts already yelled at me about it, so I gotta be careful what I say. Force Ghosts? Luke's face lit up with genuine interest. You've seen Force Ghosts? Yeah, Yoda, Obi-Wan. Your dad before he got the armor upgrade. Super awkward conversation, by the way. They're very concerned about cosmic balance and destiny and all that jazz. Leia lowered her blaster slightly. You're either the most elaborate Imperial spy in history, or you're telling some version of the truth. Option B, definitely option B. Dodonna studied Deadpool for a long moment, weighing risks and potential benefits. If what you're saying is true, if you have knowledge of Imperial operations, you could be invaluable to the rebellion. But if you're lying, if this is some elaborate trap, then shoot me, Deadpool interrupted. Seriously, put a blaster bolt through my head. I'll heal and we can move past the trust issues. That won't be necessary. Luke interjected quickly. "I can feel something about him. It's strange. Like he's here but also not here. The Force shows me nothing about his intentions. That's because I don't have a Force presence, Golden Boy. I'm a narrative anomaly, a walking plot hole, the universe's middle finger to predetermined destiny." Deadpool turned to address all the assembled rebels. "Look, I get it. You don't trust me. That's smart. But the Empire wants me dead or captured, which makes us natural allies. And I've got skills, combat training, tactical experience, and an inability to stay dead that's really useful in war zones." Dodonna exchanged glances with Leia and the commander. Silent communication passed between them, the kind that happens between experienced military personnel. Finally, Dodonna spoke. "You'll come with us to the base. You'll be debriefed thoroughly. If your information checks out, we'll discuss your status. If not, brig time. I know. Been there, done that. Got the Imperial Detention Center t-shirt." Deadpool mock saluted. "Lead the way, General." As the rebels began escorting him through the jungle toward their hidden base, Luke fell into step beside him. "You really know what's going to happen?" the young Jedi asked quietly. Deadpool looked at him. This earnest kid, who had no idea about the pain and loss ahead, the truths that would break and remake him. "Yeah, kid, I do. Is it bad?" Deadpool was quiet for a moment. "It's hard. Really hard. You're going to lose people. You're going to face impossible choices. You're going to learn things that'll shake everything you thought you knew." He paused. "But you win. In the end, you win." Luke smiled slightly, that hopeful farm boy smile that the galaxy would come to depend on. That's all I needed to hear. The Rebel briefing room on Yavin 4 was packed. Every available commander, pilot, and intelligence officer had crammed into the ancient temple's converted strategy chamber. At the center of it all stood Deadpool, surrounded by holographic displays, suspicious faces, and one very insistent protocol droid. "For the record," C-3PO announced in his perpetually anxious tone, "I must protest this highly irregular debriefing. This person has provided no proper credentials, no verifiable identity, and speaks in the most peculiar manner." "Noted, Goldenrod." General Dodonna gestured for the droid to step back. "Now, Mr. Wilson." "Deadpool, please." "Mr. Wilson makes me sound like a substitute teacher." "Deadpool." Dodonna's patience was clearly being tested. "You claim to have intelligence about Imperial operations, specifically about this Death Star." "Oh, it's called the Death Star? Even better. The Empire really committed to the evil aesthetic." Deadpool approached the holographic display showing scattered Imperial reports and reconnaissance data. "Okay, crash course on how you're all going to die if we don't act fast." The room went silent. The Death Star, yes, that's really what they call it, is a battle station roughly 160 kilometers in diameter. It has a super laser that can destroy an entire planet with one shot. The Empire is planning to use it to terrorize the galaxy into submission. Total annihilation as a governing philosophy. Very on brand for Palpatine. Leia stepped forward, her diplomatic mask firmly in place but eyes sharp with intelligence. "Our sources have confirmed increased construction activity in the Outer Rim. We've had reports of entire fleets being diverted, resources being redirected, but nothing about a weapon of this magnitude. That's because the Empire keeps it compartmentalized, need-to-know basis. Even most Imperial officers don't know the full scope." Deadpool zoomed in on a section of the hologram. "But here's the thing, and I'm trusting you guys with this because the Force ghosts will be mad at me anyway. There's a weakness." Every eye in the room locked onto him. A thermal exhaust port 2 meters wide leads directly to the main reactor. One precise shot, proton torpedoes, not lasers, triggers a chain reaction that blows the whole station. "That's impossible," one of the pilots scoffed. a 2-meter target on a moving battle station while under defensive fire. Yeah, it's a terrible design flaw, like genuinely embarrassing for whoever approved those schematics. But it's real, and it's your only shot at stopping this thing before it destroys. He stopped himself, remembering Alderaan's fate. He glanced at Leia, whose homeworld was still intact in this timeline. He couldn't tell her. Changing that particular event could cascade into catastrophic timeline alterations. Before it destroys the rebellion, he finished quietly. Even if this is accurate, we'd need the technical readouts, the exact specifications, attack vectors, defensive capabilities. Working on it, Deadpool said. But here's where I can help right now. You've got Imperial forces hunting me specifically. Vader is personally invested in capturing me. We can use that. Use it how? Leia asked, her tactical mind already working through possibilities. Bait. I'm bait. We leak my location, draw out Imperial forces, and while they're busy chasing me, you hit their supply lines, steal their data, whatever rebellious stuff you need to do. That's suicide, Luke interjected, his concern genuine. You said Vader himself is after you. He's the Empire's best weapon, and I'm unkillable, so we're evenly matched in the refuses to die category. Deadpool turned to face the young Skywalker. Besides, someone's got to keep tall, dark, and respirator-dependent busy while you guys save the galaxy. Mon Mothma entered the briefing room, the rebellion's political leader, elegant and authoritative. She'd been listening from the doorway, assessing this strange newcomer. You're volunteering to be hunted by Darth Vader, she stated. Why would you risk that for a rebellion you just joined? Deadpool was quiet for a moment. Behind the mask, behind the jokes, something genuine flickered through. Because where I'm from, I've spent my whole life being told I'm a mistake, a cancer with a mouth, something that shouldn't exist. And yeah, maybe that's true here too. The Force certainly thinks so. But you know what? I'm really good at ruining evil people's plans. It's kind of my thing. And the Empire? He gestured at the holographic display. They're as evil as it gets. So yeah, I'll be your chaos agent, your unpredictable element, the thing Vader can't foresee or control. The room remained silent, processing this confession wrapped in characteristic deflection. Finally, Dodonna spoke. If we do this, if we use you as a diversion, we'd need coordination, precise timing. You'd need a way to communicate with us, to survive long enough to be useful. I've survived worse. I once fought an entire army while handcuffed to a hydrogen bomb. This'll be a cakewalk by comparison. He's insane, one commander muttered. Probably, Leia agreed. But he's also right. The Empire can predict our strategies because they're trained to think like us. But him? She studied Deadpool with new appreciation. He doesn't think like anyone. That makes him dangerous, to them and to us. I prefer charmingly unpredictable, Deadpool offered. R2D2 rolled forward, beeping and whistling with what sounded like approval. C3PO translated reluctantly. R2 says the probabilities of success increase significantly with an element the Empire cannot calculate. He also says you smell like engine coolant and questionable life choices. I like this droid. He gets me. Dodonna made his decision with the weight of command behind it. We'll run a limited operation. Test your abilities. There's an Imperial supply depot on Fest, lightly guarded. We need the supplies, and it'll give us a chance to see if you can handle yourself in combat situations. Finally, some action. I was getting worried this would be all talking and planning. Don't get me wrong, strategy is important, but I'm more of a stab first, ask questions while stabbing kind of guy. Luke approached Deadpool as the briefing dispersed. Can I ask you something? Shoot, kid. You said you know what happens. To me. To all of us. Luke's blue eyes were intense with the need to understand. If you know the future, why not just tell us everything? We could avoid mistakes, save lives, because that's not how time works, Luke. Trust me, I've dealt with time travel before. Never ends well. Cable can confirm, wherever he is. Deadpool's tone softened. The future I know, it's built on specific choices, specific moments. You learning things at the right time, in the right way. If I give you all the answers, you don't grow into the person who can actually use them. That sounds like something Ben would say. Ben? Oh, Obi-Wan. Yeah, we haven't met yet in your timeline, but don't worry. Deadpool caught himself again. Actually, never mind. Spoilers. Luke smiled, despite himself. You're strange, but I think you mean well. Kid, I have no idea what I mean. I'm making this up as I go. But yeah, I'm on your side, the side with the scrappy underdogs and the better soundtrack. As Deadpool left the briefing room to prepare for the Fest operation, he didn't notice the figure watching from the shadows. A Bothan spy who'd been present for the entire debriefing, filing every word away for his network's intelligence reports. Reports that would eventually reach Imperial ears. And in the cold depths of space, aboard the Executor, Darth Vader stood before a holographic communication with Emperor Palpatine. The ancient Sith Lord's wizened face crackled with displeasure. "This anomaly has contacted the rebellion," Palpatine hissed. "He spreads knowledge of our greatest weapon. This cannot stand." "I will retrieve him, my master," Vader assured. "The rebels have made a fatal error. They believe he can help them. Instead, he will be their doom. See that he is, Lord Vader, and when you capture him, bring him to me. I wish to peer into this creature's mind myself, to understand what force could create something the Force itself cannot touch." The hologram flickered out, leaving Vader alone with his thoughts and his breathing. The hunt would continue, and this time the anomaly had given him a target. The Battle of Fest was supposed to be simple. In and out. Hit the Imperial supply depot, grab medical supplies and weapon components, evacuate before reinforcements arrived. Standard rebel raid, the kind they'd executed dozens of times with acceptable casualties and reasonable success rates. Then, Deadpool got involved. The rebel strike team, 12 soldiers, 2 pilots, and 1 unkillable mercenary, approached the depot under cover of Fest's perpetual snowstorms. The facility squatted in a valley like a grey tumor, all Imperial efficiency and brutal architecture. Guard towers, a TST, walkers on patrol, stormtroopers marching in precise formations. "Okay, team," the squad leader, a Duros named Shreve, whispered through the comm. "We go in quiet, disable the communications array first, then—" "Or," Deadpool interrupted, standing up from their concealed position. "We could do it my way." "What's your way?" Loud. Before anyone could stop him, Deadpool pulled out a thermal detonator he'd borrowed from the Yavin 4 armory and hurled it at the nearest guard tower. The explosion bloomed orange against the white snow, sending debris and stormtroopers flying. "Knock! Knock! Empire!" Deadpool shouted, charging down the slope with both katanas drawn. "Special delivery from the Department of Get Wrecked!" The rebels stared in collective horror for exactly 2 seconds. Then training kicked in, and they followed, laying down suppressing fire as Deadpool became a red and black blur of violence. The first squad of stormtroopers never stood a chance. Deadpool moved through them like a dancing plague, swords carving through armor with surgical precision. A blaster bolt caught him in the shoulder. He barely flinched, his healing factor already closing the wound. Another shot took him in the leg. He stumbled, rolled, and came up swinging. "Is that all you got?" he shouted at the garrison. "I've been shot by better marksmen at a carnival." An AT-ST Walker pivoted toward him, its chin-mounted blasters charging. Deadpool's eyes widened behind his mask. "Okay, that's cheating. That's a giant chicken with guns. Who approved this design?" The Walker fired. Deadpool dove, feeling the heat of laser fire scorching the air above him. He rolled behind a cargo container as the walker's feet thundered closer, each step shaking the ground. The rebel team had split up, half engaging the stormtroopers, half making a run for the supply depot's main entrance. Shreve was screaming tactical commands that nobody could hear over the chaos. Luke, who'd insisted on joining this mission despite Leia's protests, was providing cover fire with his blaster, his natural force sensitivity helping him anticipate enemy movements. Deadpool spotted a fuel line running from the depot to a nearby generator. His eyes lit up with terrible, wonderful ideas. "Hey, robot chicken!" he shouted at the AT-ST, waving his arms. "Over here, yeah you! Your mom was a speeder bike and your dad was a trash compactor." The walker turned, targeting systems locking onto him. It fired again. Deadpool ran directly toward it, which was either incredibly brave or incredibly stupid, and at the last second dove between its legs, slashing at the hydraulic systems with his katana as he passed. The walker stumbled, not down, but enough. Deadpool grabbed a thermal detonator from his belt, primed it, and wedged it into the damaged leg joint. Then he ran like his life depended on it, which, given his healing factor, it didn't. But the principle remained. The explosion took the walker's leg off. The machine toppled sideways, crashing into the fuel line and rupturing it. Pressurized fuel sprayed everywhere, coating stormtroopers, equipment, and most of the depot's eastern section. "Somebody want to ignite that?" Deadpool called out. Luke, understanding immediately, fired a blaster bolt into the fuel cloud. The resulting fireball was visible from orbit. "That's what I'm talking about!" Deadpool whooped, somehow having escaped the blast radius through a combination of luck and narrative convenience. "This is the best day ever!" But the celebration was premature. Through the flames and smoke, a figure emerged, tall, dark, and impossibly intimidating. Darth Vader. The Dark Lord strode through fire like it was a gentle breeze, his cape somehow not burning, his breathing audible even over the roar of flames. Behind him, more stormtroopers poured from transport ships that had just arrived. Reinforcements, lots of them. "Oh," Deadpool said quietly. "Oh, this is bad." Vader's lightsaber ignited with its distinctive snap hiss, the red blade casting crimson shadows across his black armor. "You cannot run forever, Anomaly," Vader's voice boomed across the battlefield. "Your chaos ends here." "Buddy, my chaos is just getting started." Deadpool drew both katanas, knowing full well how outmatched he was. "Also, did you follow me here? Because that's stalking. I'm flattered, but also concerned." The rebel team was retreating, dragging supply crates toward their transport ships. Luke hesitated, clearly torn between helping Deadpool and completing the mission. "Go!" Deadpool shouted at him. "Get out of here! I'll handle tall, dark, and wheezy. I'm not leaving you." "Luke, I literally cannot die. You can. Big difference. Now move your farm boy ass before I..." Vader closed the distance with force-enhanced speed, his lightsaber arcing toward Deadpool's head. Deadpool parried with both katanas crossed, the plasma blade searing through one sword and cutting it in half. Oh, come on. That was perfectly good steel. He threw the broken blade at Vader's face, a distraction, nothing more, and rolled backward, firing both pistols. The bullets deflected off Vader's armor and force barrier, completely ineffective. "Guns don't work," noted. Deadpool holstered them. "New plan. Run and be annoying." What followed was the strangest chase Fest had ever witnessed. Deadpool sprinted through the burning depot with Vader pursuing at a measured, inexorable pace. The Dark Lord didn't run. He didn't need to. The Force guided his steps, anticipated Deadpool's movements, herded him like prey. Except Deadpool wasn't predictable. He dove through windows Vader had to force push open. He climbed walls Vader had to walk around. He set traps that shouldn't have worked but did, because Vader couldn't foresee them through the Force. A falling cargo container here, a triggered explosive there. Nothing fatal. Nothing could stop Vader. but enough to slow him down, to frustrate him, to make the Dark Lord of the Sith genuinely angry. "You're like that one fly in your room at 2 a.m., Deadpool shouted, clambering onto a rooftop. "You can't catch it. It won't shut up, and it's ruining your life." Vader Force jumped to the rooftop with impossible grace. His lightsaber carved through a support beam, causing part of the structure to collapse. Deadpool tumbled with the debris, hitting the ground hard enough to break several bones that immediately began healing. He struggled to his feet as Vader approached, the Dark Lord's shadow falling over him like a shroud. "Your defiance is meaningless," Vader stated. "The Emperor wishes to study you. You will be taken alive." "Yeah, about that." Deadpool pressed a button on his remaining teleporter device, which he'd been secretly repairing during the entire fight using scavenged Imperial components. "I've got other plans." The device sparked, whirred, made sounds that were definitely not encouraging. "That's not good." Vader's hand shot out, force gripping Deadpool and lifting him off the ground. The invisible pressure crushed ribs, collapsed a lung, made Deadpool's vision swim. But the teleporter activated anyway. Not properly, not correctly, but enough. Reality tore open like wet paper. Deadpool felt himself being pulled through dimensions, through possibilities, through the spaces between stories. Vader's grip faltered. Even the Force couldn't hold something that was ceasing to exist in this reality. The last thing Deadpool heard before the universe hiccuped was Vader's mechanical breathing turning into what might have been surprise. Then he was gone, leaving only burn marks and narrative confusion. Deadpool didn't land somewhere else. He landed somewhere else. The teleporter, damaged and jury-rigged with Imperial technology that was never meant to interface with Cable's temporal mechanics, had punched through more than just space. It had torn through the fabric of the Star Wars narrative itself. When Deadpool's consciousness reassembled, a process that felt like being faxed through a blender, he found himself floating in a void of pure story. Not space, not the Force, something deeper, more fundamental. The script, he could see it, literally see it, hanging in the nothing like burning words written across reality. Scene descriptions, character motivations, plot beats. The entire Star Wars saga stretched out before him in narrative form, glowing with the light of billions of people's belief and imagination. "Oh," Deadpool whispered. "Oh no. Oh, this is either the coolest thing ever, or I've finally lost it completely." He reached out, and his hand touched one of the glowing lines of text. EXT, Death Star, space. The massive battle station looms against the stars, a technological terror representing the Empire's ultimate power. The moment his fingers made contact, he felt it, the weight of destiny, the rails of predetermined fate that guided every character, every choice, every supposedly dramatic moment toward its inevitable conclusion. And he realized he could change it. "No way," he breathed. "No way." He looked around the void, addressing the audience that he knew, had always known, was watching. "Are you seeing this? Please tell me you're seeing this. I can literally rewrite Star Wars." A voice echoed through the narrative void, not spoken, but felt. The Force itself, manifesting as something between a warning and a plea. "Do not." "Oh, I'm definitely doing it," Deadpool said, grinning beneath his mask. "You should have let me leave when the Force ghosts asked nicely. Now, I'm going full meta." He grabbed another line of script. Darth Vader strikes down Obi-Wan Kenobi aboard the Death Star. "Nope, let's change that." His fingers blazed with impossible energy. Not the Force, but something that transcended it. Narrative power, fourth wall authority, the ability to exist outside the story while still being part of it. He rewrote the line. Darth Vader strikes at Obi-Wan Kenobi, but Deadpool crashes through a wall riding a stolen speeder bike, screaming about destiny being overrated. The narrative convulsed. Reality rippled. Somewhere in the Star Wars timeline, events shifted, probability recalculated, and the Force screamed in metaphysical agony. "Oh, this is amazing!" Deadpool moved through the void, finding more lines, more scenes, more predetermined moments. Let's see what else we can fix. Or break. Probably break. He found the moment where Han Solo would be frozen in carbonite, changed it so Harrison Ford, Han, shot first, again, with emphasis, and also had better dialogue. He located the scene where Palpatine reveals his master plan, added a line where someone points out how needlessly convoluted it is. He discovered the Battle of Endor, made the Ewoks significantly more competent warriors with better tactical planning, also gave them modern weaponry, because why not? "This is for every plot hole," he shouted into the void. "This is for every frustrating decision. This is for making Greedo shoot first." The narrative void began collapsing around him. The Force, sentient, desperate, terrified, was trying to restore order, to repair the damage, to eject this cancer from its carefully woven tapestry. But Deadpool had become something new, something the galaxy had never encountered. He was becoming a Force avatar of chaos, not by choice, not through training, but because he'd broken the story so thoroughly that reality had no choice but to give him a role, make him part of the system so he could be contained within it. Power flooded through him, not midi-chlorians, not the light or dark side, but pure narrative energy. The ability to see plot threads before they formed, to know where scenes would go, to perceive the fourth wall not as a barrier, but as a window he could climb through at will. "Oh no," Deadpool said, feeling the transformation. "Oh, this is bad. I'm becoming canon. I'm becoming an actual character instead of a walking parody. This is the worst thing that could happen." The Force manifested before him as a swirling presence, neither light nor dark, but something ancient and fundamental. "You have forced our hand," it communicated. "You cannot be removed, so you must be contained, absorbed, made part of the pattern." "Yeah, I figured. You can't kill what won't die, can't erase what keeps coming back, so you're making me official, giving me a job description." Deadpool felt Force energy, twisted, wrong, chaotic, flowing through him. "What am I now? What did you make me? The fool, the trickster, the chaos that tests the chosen. Every story needs one. You will be ours. Counterpoint, I'll be chaos on my own terms." Deadpool reached out one final time, grabbing the core narrative thread, the one that connected everything, the prophecy of the Chosen One bringing balance to the Force, and he tied it in a knot. Balance is boring. Let's see what happens with a little imbalance. Reality shattered like glass. Deadpool fell through the breaking narrative, through layers of story and destiny, tumbling back toward the physical galaxy with power he didn't ask for and responsibilities he absolutely would not take seriously. He crashed into Mos Eisley Cantina, the same cantina he'd destroyed days ago, now rebuilt, landing on the exact same table he'd cut in half during his first visit. The patrons stared. Deadpool stood up, dusting off his suit, now crackling with strange Force energy that made nearby objects float randomly. His katanas hummed with power they'd never had before. His awareness extended across timelines, across possibilities, across the fourth wall itself. "I'm back," he announced, "and I've been promoted to Avatar of Chaos. Also, I can see the future now, which is super annoying. Did you know that?" He stopped himself, grinning. "Actually, no spoilers. Where's the fun in that?" Outside the cantina, across Tatooine's dusty streets, a hooded figure watched. Obi-Wan Kenobi, hermit and guardian, felt the disturbance through the Force. a wrongness that made his connection to the cosmic energy scream warnings. The old Jedi Master closed his eyes, reaching out, trying to understand what had just happened. The Force showed him fractured visions, timelines splitting, destinies rewriting, the carefully maintained balance between light and dark being disrupted by something that refused to play by the rules. "What have you become?" Obi-Wan whispered to the wind. In the Cantina, Deadpool's comlink, stolen from his last Imperial encounter, crackled to life. Vader's voice, cold and absolute. "I know what you've done, Anomaly. I felt it through the Force. You've poisoned the galaxy's destiny." Poisoned? That's harsh. I prefer added some spice. Made things interesting. Deadpool's voice carried new confidence, new power, new terrible certainty. "And here's the thing, Darth. You can't predict me now. None of you can. Not Palpatine, not the Jedi, not even the Force itself. Then I will hunt you across every system, every planet, until you are destroyed. Can't wait. But first," Deadpool looked up, directly at the fourth wall, directly at the audience. "I've got to deal with someone else." The Cantina door exploded inward. Darth Maul stood in the smoking entrance, his yellow eyes blazing with Sith fury, his double-bladed lightsaber igniting with twin crimson blades. He'd been tracking rumors of a Force-sensitive anomaly, and his investigation had led him here. "You," Maul hissed. "You are the disturbance, the chaos infecting the galaxy." Deadpool reached behind his back and pulled out 4 lightsabers he'd somehow acquired during his narrative editing spree. 1 red, 1 blue, 1 green, 1 purple. He held 2 in his hands, 1 in his teeth, and wedged 1 in his belt at what could only be described as an extremely uncomfortable angle. The Cantina patrons fled. Smart people, those Cantina patrons. "Round 2, red tattoo guy." Deadpool's voice was muffled by the lightsaber in his mouth, but the enthusiasm was unmistakable. Maul charged with Sith speed and fury, his weapon a blur of deadly precision. Deadpool met him with chaotic grace and absolutely zero regard for proper lightsaber form. Their blades clashed, and the Cantina erupted in sparks and violence, and the sound of destiny breaking. The battle between Deadpool and Darth Maul lasted 17 minutes and destroyed 3 city blocks. In the end, Deadpool stood victorious, not because he was a better fighter, but because he was unpredictable, unkillable, and had absolutely no respect for the dramatic conventions of lightsaber duels. Maul retreated, wounded and confused, carrying reports of this impossible being back to whoever would listen. Deadpool's presence in the Star Wars galaxy had become permanent. He was now the Force's avatar of chaos, a walking disruption that tested heroes, confused villains, and made the cosmic balance throw up its metaphysical hands in frustration. The rebellion gained an unpredictable ally who knew too much and shared too little. The Empire gained an enemy they could never anticipate, and the Force itself gained a headache that would last for generations. Across the galaxy, Force-sensitive beings felt the shift. Balance had become imbalance, destiny had become probability, and prophecy had become suggestion. Deadpool looked at the burning remains of the Cantina and shrugged. "Well, that's 2 cantinas. Pretty sure they're going to ban me from Tatooine." He turned to address the audience one final time. "Thanks for watching, folks. Hope you enjoyed the show. And hey, if you've got suggestions for what other characters should crash into Star Wars, drop them in the comments. The Force might hate me, but at least I'm never boring." He walked off into the twin sunset, leaving chaos, confusion, and a fundamentally altered galaxy in his wake. Some disruptions can't be contained, some anomalies can't be erased, and some characters, no matter what universe they're in, will always break the fourth wall and the story itself. The Force would learn to live with it. It didn't have a choice. May the Force be with you. More stories await.